Hello, happy Tuesday. Good afternoon. This is Kelly from Kelly's Coffee and Crime Chat. Welcome, everybody. I will hopefully have this up for early access for Patreon and Spotify premium subscribers. So I'm hoping to get this uploaded tonight. This is actually Tuesday, October 29th. This month has gone way too fast, and it's just gone way too fast. Anyway, I hate to see October end, but I've enjoyed spooky season and being off work. So I had Java Mama this morning. I had Mummy Mallow, which has been my coffee for the past few days, and it is so good. It is just like having marshmallows over an open fire. Oh, yummy. So right now I'm drinking cold Gatorade, because I have been trying to organize some stuff up in my craft room, and I am so hot that's why I had my fan on just a minute ago and I turned it off, because I'm afraid it's going to be too annoying. So, oh my gosh. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I ran across this story in my crime page-a-day calendar, and I love this calendar so much that I'm going to ask for it for Christmas again next year. It is so nice. I have learned so much in some of these stories that I never knew these cases, even some of the weird laws they have, that I never knew was a law. So the one, though, that I'm doing today is very sad. I do not remember hearing about this. It is Peggy Johnson Schroeder. I'm not sure why. I think I know why she's got two last names, but my sources: unidentifiedawareness.fandom.com, racingcountyeye.com, that's EYE, oxygen.com, and wikipedia.org. Peggy Johnson was born March 4th, 1976. So I am going to I'm going to come back to this part of her life, but I want to start where what happened in Racine County. Now, this was in Raymond, Wisconsin, but it was in Racine County. A father and his daughter were just out walking their dogs when they found the body of a woman lying near the edge of a cornfield. They said it was like the inner edge of the cornfield. So I'm thinking that was like not on the road, but inside the edge of it. Her body was at a weird angle, and her right arm was bent behind her, which was not normal for it to be bent the way it was. She had a man's gray shirt on, and the shirt had a floral design, and she wore black sweatpants, no shoes or socks. Now, they found out the shirt was first sold in 1984. That's all they found out about the shirt. Nobody had reported anybody missing. Now, it had only been a day. They found out from the autopsy. It had only been a day since she had been deceased. But there was a witness that said she was not there the day before. So maybe she was placed there during the night. They did the autopsy, and they found out that she had died from blunt force trauma to the head. She had been very, very malnourished. She had an infection in her left elbow, broken nose, broken ribs. Also, she had cauliflower ear. And if anybody doesn't know what that is if it's being pulled a lot, or beaten in that side. And they also found sharp force trauma to that ear. She also had road rash, and to where she had been dragged. And I'm thinking, I thought I had read later in one of the sources that was after she had been gone, that they had drug her. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I read. And then she had chemical burns over 25% of her body. she had also been sexually assaulted. So they were not able to identify her, and she was known as the Racine County Jane Doe, and they gave her the name Crystal Ray. Over 50 people attended her funeral on October 27th, 1999, despite not knowing her. Her tombstone, they put daughter Jane Doe, and then the dates of her discovery and her burial, and the words "gone but not forgotten." I have a photo of this from findagrave.com. That was another source I used, and I forgot to mention that at the beginning, but Find a Grave. So I have a photo of that. Now, reconstruction images were done because they didn't know, you know how they do it when you age. She was an adult when they found her, young adult, about 23, but through the years, you know how they update the reconstruction images, and they did this based on the morgue photos. Police thought she was either a runaway or someone from another country, and lead after lead went cold. Now, her body was exhumed on October 16th of 2013 in Milwaukee, and that was to try to find out where she had lived before her death. I did not know they could do this. That was very interesting. They can do some testing on her bones to see where, like, the climate, I guess, and I had no idea that they could do that. So they reburied her after they did the testing on July 21st, 2015. So this was about 2 years later. They weren't letting a lot of what they found out to the public. So they reburied her, and that was the date. The 16 years of the anniversary of her discovery was July 21st of 2015. And then, so they came to the conclusion, this is what they told the public, that she could, well, I think they told the public this. I'm not sure. But they came to the conclusion that she could be from Alaska, Montana, or southern Canada. And that's what they found out from the testing. But they weren't letting any other details out. This was from the Smithsonian testing. They tested a sample of her hair and her bones. So it was just a sample that they took, and they had it tested at the Smithsonian. And that's when they found out Alaska, Montana, or southern Canada is where they were thinking she was from. Now, a tip finally came in 20 years later, 20 years from when they found her. And this was in 2019. I think it was September. I got it written down here, but it was in September that this came in. And let's see. I'm trying to correct something here. It bothers me when I write something and, like, I don't spell it right or something. Or I write it and it's in way... Sorry about that. That was a click of my pen. Okay, a tip finally came in September of 2019 when someone came forward, and I never found out the name. They didn't let the name out, at least that I've read in all my sources. I never did find a name. Somebody had called about a woman named Linda. Now, this call came from Florida. And Linda LaRock, I think is how you say her name, and I don't really care if that's the way you say it. That's what I'm saying. LaRock, Laroche, was intoxicated. She was 63 years old. She had lived in Florida since 2013, and she told this person that she killed a woman when she lived in McHenry, Illinois. So, Linda was arrested on November 5th, 2019 in Cape Coral, Florida. She confessed to killing someone in Illinois. To many people. And even though she told many people, only this one person called the police. It's like, why? I mean, I don't know how many people she told, but unless she was just drunk and they're like, oh, she's just messed up, you know. But still, one person did call. And Linda was charged with first-degree intentional homicide and concealment of a corpse. She was also in some hot water for a car wreck while intoxicated. And through DNA, Peggy Johnson Schroeder was identified. on November 8th of 2019. She was 23 years old. Now, she was last seen at a homecoming dance in 1994 in Harvard, Illinois, and this must have been her high school. And if this was homecoming, let's see, 1994, I was trying to figure out her age at that time, because she was born, I think, in 76. So now she had no family except one aunt. At this time, when she was born, well, I'll go back to the beginning here in a minute. Now, she has an aunt, and this aunt actually placed an ad, a personal ad in the paper for Peggy to contact her. And this was December of 99, same year she went missing, or same year she was found. She was found in July that same year. It was just a personal ad trying to get a hold of her. Now, a little bit more about Peggy Johnson. She had one brother, Jesse Adam Schroeder. Her dad was Lawrence Schroeder, and her mom's name was Diane. And I think Schroeder must be the last name that Lawrence must have adopted her, that maybe she actually had another dad with the name Johnson. Or maybe that was her mom's maiden name was Johnson. I don't think it was, because I think I read her mom's maiden name was something different. And I'm wondering if her mom had been married first and had Peggy. Now, Jesse Adam Schroeder, her brother, was 18 years old. He was born in 1980, and he died when he was 18 in 1998, a year before she was deceased. And I can't remember. I couldn't read what he died. I didn't find out what he died of. I found the obituary, and very, very sad. But I could not find what he died of at age 18. So her family's gone. When she was 18, her mother died. So Diane died when she was 18. Her father had died some time before that. It's just like, it's so sad. This is so sad to me, to have no family at all, and then something happens to you. And I mean, like I said, she did have the aunt, but evidently her aunt didn't report her missing. I don't know. I don't understand that. But Peggy was born in McHenry, Illinois, March 4th of 1976. She had cognitive disabilities, so it's like she had a learning disability. And she was described as quiet. Her mother passed when Peggy was 18, like I said, and she started living homeless. She was homeless. I don't know where the aunt lived, and I don't know. I never heard if she graduated from high school. Maybe she graduated that same year. She was 23. Sorry, she was 23 when she went missing. So I'm thinking that she did graduate. I'm not sure, but she was homeless. And come to find out, she was saved by this woman from a medical center in 1994. This woman was married with 5 kids and took in Peggy. She told Peggy she could stay, but it would be in exchange she could help with the daycare, taking care of her 5 kids, and housework, because this woman was a nurse. Now, of course, this woman was Linda LaRoque, whatever. Linda was a nurse, providing health care to at least 2 correctional facilities in Illinois. And she started her own nursing business, and that's what she did. And she started it in 1997. This was a nurse. Now, this is what I've heard of nurses doing some really morbid stuff. But she told police that Peggy stole many things from her house and invited men over without permission. Okay, I don't think this girl did that, but okay, whatever, Linda. Linda's ex-husband told them, he was married to her at the time, and told them he came home in July of 1999, and Peggy was unresponsive. Linda said that she had overdosed because Peggy was forced to sleep in the crawl space of their house. And this is where Linda stored medication. Why would you store medication in a frickin' crawl space? I don't believe that. And she had overdosed. Linda told her husband to leave and take the kids out for ice cream so she could get rid of Peggy's body. There were no drugs in Peggy's system. They found out. Linda told the police that Peggy woke up after her husband left, and Linda just dropped her off to meet her grandmother. Now, where did this grandmother come from? Well, she had a grandmother who lived in Florida. She didn't live up in this area. She lived in Florida. So, I don't know why she wasn't in touch with her either. I mean, this whole thing just sounds so strange to me with the family members. But, when they found the grandmother, she said she had not seen Peggy that day, nor she had never even met anybody in Linda's family. Then Linda said it was someone else. Oh, it was someone else she dropped her off to. What in the world? Her story kept changing. So, right away, the police knew. I mean, they already knew it was her, I think, but still, this was ridiculous the way she was kept changing her story. And Linda said, oh, she didn't kill Peggy, but she did abuse her. She admitted to that, but she did not kill her. Peggy had regular beatings. This was confirmed by their now grown kids. She had regular beatings and burnings from Linda. Linda also confessed to killing another Illinois woman, but didn't name off who she was. And she probably said she didn't know who she was. I have no idea who this is. I have not found out anything else on this one. But she was charged with first-degree murder, March of 2022, found guilty. And she tried to get her conviction overturned on appeal in 2024. And I'm pretty sure she got life in prison. That was the one thing I did not see when I was reading about this. But earlier this year, she tried to overturn it on appeal. And she was saying that there was another death of a woman very similar to Peggy's that year that was 40 miles away. Her appeal was denied, by the way. There was no evidence or anything linking somebody else to that other murder. And Linda herself was not involved in that other murder either. So Peggy Johnson was moved to lie next to her mother in Belvidere, Illinois, when they found her identity. So she was laid to rest next to her mother in Belvidere, Illinois. So this case went cold for 20 years until somebody finally spoke up. I'd like to know what... Oh, I guess she must have told her husband she dropped her off to her grandmother. Her husband hadn't known she was beating this girl, sleeping in the crawl space of her house. The kids knew. Why wasn't anything done about this? This case made me very, very angry when I was reading about it, and very sad that this woman was allowed to do this and then get away for 20 years until finally someone said something, because she was just blabbing to everybody. I mean, it sounded to me almost like to me, when people blab like that, it's like they think they're big and bad, and I don't know what her deal was, but the person said she killed the girl, and then she's telling police, oh, no, I didn't kill her. Okay, whatever. I mean, I tell you, oh my gosh. So that's the story of Peggy Johnson Schroeder. I was looking, because I read about it on Oxygen.com, and I was looking for an episode on one of their shows about this, and I couldn't find it. I Googled it, and I couldn't find an episode, because I was hoping to get maybe more information. But very, very, very sad. I mean, the girl was homeless and thought she found somebody to help her. One source I read said that she actually started working, that Linda hired her at the medical center or something, or that she started working at the medical center. And that's where Linda found her. But it was Linda's business, so I would think Linda would have been the one to hire her. If that was true, I don't know. Where she got off doing this to her. And then I'm wondering, well, she worked for a correctional facility, because I was wondering if she had regular patients and what she did to them, if she was ever, well, she said she killed another Illinois woman, which I would love to know who that is. You know, if there's any Jane, and there's a lot of, there, I read a few other names of people that did go missing and, or found deceased, but I don't know if if it's still a cold case. But DNA is more advanced now than ever, and it's doing awesome. I know I talked about this on the Patreon episode, but Netflix if anybody wants to see a good documentary, there's a new one on the Zodiac Killer on Netflix called This is the Zodiac Speaking. I think that's the name of it. Very good. It's only 3 episodes and they're not very long. New information, stuff I did not know. And they showed actually the DNA testing on there when, I don't want to give anything away if you watch it, but that is highly recommended. That's the best one I've seen in a long time. A best documentary I've seen in a while. And then I started watching, if anybody's watched Woman of the Hour, I watched that. That was good, about the dating game killer. I just wish they would have talked more about his victims. And I found out there were some things in that. That's actually a movie. I found out there were some things in it that did not happen. She never went on a date with him, and in the movie shows them going on a date. He tried to hook up with her after the show, but they didn't go out. And there's a few other things that happened that was not the way it happened. And then, let's see, what else have I watched? I'm in the middle of Escape at Dannemora. That's the one where the woman in New York busted out those 2 guys from prison. Ben Stiller directs this, and it's pretty good direction. I mean, I was impressed. But it's 7 episodes. I'm only on episode, I've watched 4, so I'm like in the middle of it. It's got a lot of good actors in this one. A lot of good actors. And then I watched Love on the Run, which is the documentary about the other woman who busted the guy out of prison in Alabama because she was in love with him. It was her. I did not realize this girl. Her name was Vicky. First name was Vicky White. His name was Casey White. And I don't know if they actually had this. At first I'm thinking, are they just saying they're married? Because he was calling her his wife. So I don't know if they already had the same last name or not. But anyway, because White's a very popular name. But that's a good one too. That's Love on the Run. And oh my gosh, she betrayed a lot of people. So yeah, I've been watching some documentaries and some movies, all true crime stuff, plus, some spooky stuff. I watched a movie called Don't Move on Netflix. Some people liked it. My brother loved it. He's usually hard to please. I watched it and I was bored. So I don't know. It depends on what people think. I've heard good things about it and I've heard other people say it was boring. But just think of the name Don't Move. That will tell you why I was bored. Tell you why I was bored with it. So, but anyway, and then there was another movie I tried to watch. I didn't get through it. I almost made it through, and I'm like, I gotta stop this. And I heard that the true story was a lot different, which always happens, it seems like. But it's the one, The Deliverance is what it was called, and that's about an exorcism and demons. And I'm just not. I don't know. It took a long time to get going. It really did. And it was okay. Like I said, I didn't get through it, but, But I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of October. I don't think there's anything else I was going to talk about. Wicked and Grim is a new podcast I've been listening. Not a new podcast, but one I just found out from one of my Patreon people. And it is very good. Highly recommended. Look that one up. Wicked and Grim. It's a husband and wife. And I think they're married, a husband and wife. And it's very, very good. So I'm checking that one out right now, that podcast. Everybody have a wonderful Halloween. Be safe. By the time you hear this on the regular podcast, it will be November 1st. So I hope you had a wonderful Halloween and got some good candy and whatever it is that you normally do on Halloween. I like to watch spooky movies, mostly the Halloween franchise or the Scream franchise. Halloween, really, I like to watch. And have me my candy and some snacks and either some mixed drinks or some beer. Probably some mixed drinks. I like my rum and Coke. So everybody have a safe and wonderful Halloween and enjoy this nice fall weather. It's very warm here right now. Windy but warm. And so, again, have a wonderful rest of October. And I will see you next time.